Thank you. Here's my audience. Thank you, Roy. So, if you have an insatiable appetite to live life to the fullest, explore, and live that nomadic dream of freedom, like I do, you're going to quickly find that nothing will quite quench your thirst like travel does. So, although sometimes the price is high, so are the rewards. As an unknown author once said, travel's the only thing you could spend money on that will make you richer. So as someone who recently hit my 25 before turning 25, I can tell you that that first step out the door can be daunting to say the least. So I'm here to inform you of some step-by-step basic ways to mentally and physically get your foot out that door. So where do you start and what stops everyone from doing it? So let's first discover what holds you back. So if you're like a lot of people, you probably come home from work every night and watch TV, at some point have watched a travel show, and you think to yourself, one day that'll be me. That's right at the top of my bucket list. You may have talked to other people who have traveled, and it just kind of seems like their cards fall in a line, and for whatever reason, you're just not given that same deck. So I'm here to tell you that nobody's cards really ever fall in line, and you are responsible for making your dreams a reality. So I get questions all the time about how much I'm able to travel, how I can afford it, and the big secret is I can never really afford it. I never know how it's going to work out, and I never know where I'm going to be at the end of the day. All I do know is that tomorrow is never going to come, so somehow I just have to make tomorrow happen today. So people tell me a lot, like, I wish I could be more like you, I wish I could do those things. And when I ask why they can't, they often give me one of these following excuses, as described in How to Travel the World on $50 a Day by Mark Hemps. So all this really boils down to is I'm too scared. So realistically, tomorrow's always going to be one step away, and there's always going to be a reason why you can't make it happen today. So now that we've kind of figured out what's stopping you, let's start at the beginning and take that first step. So the hardest part about traveling usually isn't the logistics of the trip itself, it's just finding that courage and motivation to go in the first place. So according to the Huffington Post, these are the top 5 regrets people tend to have in life. So as you can see right at the top there is I wish I had traveled more. So first off, just know that these paths have been paved before you. According to Wikipedia, modern day backpacking has been around since the 1960s. So you're not going to get yourself in a situation where someone hasn't gotten out of before. So you're going to make friends, and like I said, no matter how sticky that situation, you're not going to be stuck in it forever. If you're super terrified about traveling solo, there are plenty of options. You can use sites like EF or G Adventures. There's really no reason being scared to make friends should hinder your ability to travel. So next, you're going to want to be realistic about what you're willing to sacrifice. So the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. If you love your job too much to leave it, you may just kind of have to accept that long-term travel isn't right for you. So do you want to make yourself or society happy? Would you be willing to sell your car, rent out your house while you're gone, maybe even take your kids out of school and homeschool them for a year on the road? If you have the willpower to do it, basically you can make it work. So now let's just say you've overcome your fears and you've worked through these obstacles and you decided that today is the day you're going to make your dreams a reality. So it's time to take action. And when you do, it's really, really easy to get caught up in the big picture, try to plan everything out too much. And from personal experience, I can just tell you that trying to plan every meticulous detail is not going to work in your favor. You're going to lose that spontaneity. You're going to lose your sense of spontaneity, and you're really just going to stress yourself out along the way. So really, nothing ever goes according to plan. There's no reason you're going to need to plan out every minute of your day. So just think day by day, take baby steps. So first and foremost, you're going to want to decide where you want to go. So consider how much time you can take off work, or if you are willing to quit your job. Obviously, if you only have a week off work, you're not going to want to consider going someplace like Australia, where it takes 24 hours plane ride there and back. If you are willing to quit though, there are plenty of resources you can use. There's HelpX, Workaway, Wolf. You can learn to teach English, just for some additional income to help you and support you. So next, you want to kind of figure out your ideal budget. If you have plenty of money to spend, awesome, go wherever you like. But for most of us, we're kind of on a budget. So if you are thinking you want to spend under $50 a day, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go to someplace like England, where the US dollar is roughly half that of the pound, and you'll be spending probably double that. So definitely consider some place like Southeast Asia where you can definitely spend under $50 a day pretty easily. So next, consider if you want individual tickets or a around the world ticket. So if you're getting an individual ticket, you're gonna have a lot more leeway. If you're doing an around the world ticket, it'll be cheaper in the long run, but you definitely have to plan way ahead of time. So next, you need to learn to save. So look into travel credit cards with no transaction fees. Open up a savings account and just dump a little bit of money into that from each paycheck, or really just whatever kind of works for you. Look into websites like Couchsurfers, where at some point you can meet new people and get free accommodation. But when doing this, you definitely want to consider the luxuries that you require. Don't look into Couchsurfers if you're really not willing to sleep on someone's couch. So then you're just going to get prepared, get your documents in order. Obviously you're going to need a passport, but look into whatever visas you may or may not need for the country, in addition to the immunizations that they may require. So last but not least, you're going to want to get your ticket. Before you do, just research and pricing. A lot of times Tuesdays tend to be the cheaper airfares, and airlines like to wait until last minute to put out the better deals, so you're going to wait until 6 to 8 weeks to get your ticket. There are a lot of places like Twitter that'll show you some good deals you can jump on. So next, after you get your ticket, just go out and buy a backpack, lay out what you think you're going to need, and a good rule of thumb is to just split that in half. For example, this is what I packed the first time I traveled, and these are the more recent times. So as you can see, I spent a lot of money and threw a lot of things out along the way. So when you're packing, just consider the weather, consider local etiquette. So a lot of places in the world besides the US don't really like shorts. A lot of places in Europe aren't going to let you in if your shoulders are showing. So definitely something to consider. Also think about the necessities you're going to need. You're going to want a universal adapter. You're also going to want to consider a mobile plan that'll get you some sort of access to contact people in case of an emergency. And also you're going to want to call your credit card companies, make sure they know where and when you'll be out of the country. So these are just a few things you need to consider when getting ready to hit the road. Just remember to take those baby steps. So in conclusion, I've informed you of some personal obstacles to overcome, along with some step-by-step directions of where to start and where to go from there. So hopefully these points have helped motivate and assist you in deciding if travel is right for you, and if so, shown you some good places to start. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
I'm scanning.
Yay, good job.